Ha, yeah, y'all know what time it is. So just sit back and relax because the show's about to start. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Down to Earth Talk. We have a great show for you today. We are excited. Down to Earth is, a positive, focused talk show where we talk about life, we talk about real life situations, and we want to highlight the good that's happening in the world. That good includes you. Even though you may be going through life struggles, there's still good out there, and that's you. And I am joined today with Chris Cheek, our senior programming director and chaplain of All Things Are Possible.
What's up, y'all? Good to be here again. And then along with us, we have Brandon Carter.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Oh, thank you. I'm honored to be here representing Pathway for Boys and Men. So thank you for your time.
Oh, yeah. We're excited to hear a little bit more about Path Boys to Men and honestly a little bit about your story of what's going on. And so for all of you, Danny, we're already getting chats, man. We already got people joining in and saying stuff. What's up, guys?
Chat is happening, yeah.
This is happening. So they'll be bringing me some questions later, Brandon. And it'll be all right. It'll be all right. So, hey, where we at, Brandon? What's going on?
Okay. So I'm in San Bernardino County. I live in Fontana. I was born and raised in Fontana. And I was fortunate enough to meet the founder of Pathway from Boys to Men, Mr. James D. Randolph, at a meeting in San Bernardino. And once I saw his focus, which was enriching the community and providing the opportunities in construction and different industries of business, real estate, he's looking to provide these opportunities for the San Bernardino County. And I felt that this is exactly what I'm interested in doing for my community. So after that, I was interested in interning for Pathway from Boys to Men. And the focus for Pathway from Boys to Men is providing the opportunities and the understanding of what it takes to be a man and to be self-sufficient. So right now, we're developing a real estate program for all the youth and adults in San Bernardino County to understand how to obtain their own property, develop that property and sell that property for themselves and their families. So once more families in San Bernardino County have their own business and understand how to apply themselves to own a business, they'll be able to accomplish whatever they desire once we have the abundance and understanding of how to accomplish that. So that's what we're focused on doing.
So what would like a typical day kind of look like?
Is right now is designing the programs. We have about 5 programs that we're going to implement. And right now I'm pretty much designing them, which are ranging from real estate to law to a city development program, a health program, and an enrichment program. And so right now I'm about to meet with James E. Randolph this weekend to understand which program I'm going to start first and the exact schedule.
Oh, I see.
So just starting.
Fresh.
Yes,
I love that idea of because a lot of time there's we talked about this last week, right, Chris? There's the information here, there's the people here, and then there's the connection between them, right? And how to connect them to it. And that's a huge thing is a lot of people don't understand that there is an opportunity for property ownership, right? That is available. And so I guess so you guys are just starting, like what's your plan on like kind of presenting this to the community? How are you getting the word out of what you're doing?
So right now I've been meeting with the city of San Bernardino through meeting the city manager. And now this Friday, they have a meeting with the minority-led development coalition where they have a meeting on nonprofits, on how to expand your nonprofits. So I'm really building my relationship with the influencers in San Bernardino County and San Bernardino so we can actually build a plan, because at the last city council meeting, they said they still don't have a plan for San Bernardino. And at this point, I have to step in because I'm living in the city and I see what we're actually going through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So it's really connecting with, men like you and other influencers that we're going to make the impact on the world.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about before the show, and some of our viewers sometimes know this, but don't always, but we do our after school programs and our family resource centers which was started in the IE, actually in Fontana. Actually, was our first site. But ATAP has always had a heart for San Bernardino, and to see San Bernardino, just life to return to it. I wouldn't say return because there's life happening in it right now, but really seeing San Bernardino make that shift and get back on track.
Yes, sir. And it's going to be something great when it does. So that's
most definitely. I mean, and that's we're proud of our roots. We're proud of our roots in San Bernardino. Hey, we got James D. Randolph is in the chat. He says, "I am here."
Hi.
So,
yeah.
So, what we're talking about today is how we can make a difference in our community and then ultimately in the world. And I would say, like, what would you guys say is like one of the main things or a couple key elements to doing that, to making a difference?
I'll let Chris speak first.
Oh man, you gotta be able to have, honestly, vision beyond just right now and what you see. And that's one of the coolest things, I guess, in construction or like doing like a rehab type thing, is where you're able to walk into a scenario or a situation and go, okay, I see what's in front of me, but how can I change it? It's kind of like there's a lot of trash out on the street, right? And everybody's like, man, somebody really ought to do this. Somebody really ought to do that. Wait a minute. If not you, then who, right? And if not now, then when? Like, who is it? I'm sitting here looking at you, Brandon, and I'm thinking, all right, how old are you again?
22.
22. A lot of people would be like, what's this kid know, right? Like, what's this kid even know? He's 22. But even in getting to know you a little bit, you can tell that you're going to be, a mover and a shaker. You're going to say, you walk into the situation and go, I'm going to do something. When we were talking, you were sharing a little bit of your story. So go ahead and share that again, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, me personally, I grew up working in a warehouse since I was 18. I started, my first job was at the mall, but I spent 3 years working in a warehouse. And after that, I got hurt at my job, so I couldn't do warehouse work anymore. And I had fortunately worked at an arena in Ontario, at the Citizens Business Bank Arena, helped plug them. And was fortunate enough to meet a man in sports entertainment named James Collins that allowed me to go to his academy for sports business. And in order to get there, his office is in downtown Los Angeles. I had to take the train every day from Fontana to go to his office and learn the aspects of sports business. And from that, it showed me that there's millionaires, there's billionaires, and there's amazing people that are walking around at all times and that can be met at all times. But in my area, those people aren't walking around if they are millionaires in my city. So I see that the people that are winning, that are productive and already established, they need to be seen more often and met by the youth, so the youth can be influenced by them and become a greater version of them, and just always uplifting the community instead of it being more scattered, just having a clear influence and mentorship. So that's after I got that mentorship, I knew that I wanted to do the same for the youth.
There's also the recognition, right? For someone to go, okay, for this to keep going, ultimately I've got to reproduce what I'm doing in someone else, right? And so that's exactly what you saw with Mr. Collins, is he saw an opportunity with you, and you obviously showed, some kind of like ethic or, some kind of like interest. And man, that's a difference though. Like, we're talking about opportunity, we're talking about from boys to men, right? But at the same point, there's a moment where you got to go, okay, I'm interested into this, to I'm committed, right? Like you might be able to prick the interest of a lot of people, but for them to inside go, okay, I'm going to be committed to this thing, right? How many times do they say? How many times do they say someone might change their career in college, or I think I'm going to do this, or I think I'm going to do that? It's kind of like bite your lip and do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go after it, you know, and in reproducing or pouring into someone else, even the mentor to the mentee, right? If that's what it's called.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
They got to be committed to, they're going to make mistakes, and I'm going to help them overcome the mistakes and get over the hurdles, right?
Yes, sir. and yeah, and that's the only thing I can be is of value and of support to anybody I'm around. So that's what I want to do every day, and you know, excite our lives again, make life worth living again.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, again, we're talking about, Chris is talking about mentoring and all that. Hey, nice mug, Chris.
I need some coffee.
Wait. This is even the best, dude. Yes.
Seven pillars of family.
Oh, wow.
Dude, we've been focusing on stronger together, like a lot lately, Danny.
Yeah. So anyways, but what I like is that the knowledge, the passing of the knowledge, right? Because in mentorship, you get that. Now, everybody's being mentored. Like, that's the thing, is everyone has a mentor in their life. Sometimes those mentors are not positive mentors, right?
Yes,
but there is, I mean, you grow up and naturally, as you're living your life, there's mentorship that happens. You know, in a lot of the neighborhoods that we work in, that some of those relationships are negative relationships, or negative things that are that they're being mentored in the way that's going to be destruction, in the way that is going to go away from success and not towards success.
Sir.
However, like if we can get people focused on a mentor focus, in a positive direction, then they're gaining, right? You don't, they say that the street smart, right? There's the book smart and street smart, right? The book smart you can read in a book, the street smart, you got to be in the street and find it out. That's the same thing that's true with success. Like, success is not always something that you can read in a book. Now, not saying that you shouldn't read in a book, because there's lots of good information that you can gain from that. But sometimes there's stuff from people that you have to get through relationship, right? You have to get through, like you said, Chris, messing up on things, and the mentor being able to come along and say, hey, come on, let's correct this. Let's fix this here. But there's a lot of stuff you don't just get in the book. And that's why mentorship, I mean, and we're talking, you know, from boys to men, like why that is so important. I mean, that is one of the, I feel one of the strongest, most important things that our world needs right now is for boys to learn how to be men.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I mean, over the years, there's been an attack on manhood. There's been an attack on masculinity. And I'm not trying to come here and be like, oh, you know, whatever. Not, I mean, trying to be all,
You're being honest.
yeah, I'm not trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like confrontational or
No. With misogynistic. I'm not trying to be misogynistic at all. What I'm saying is boys are supposed to be men, not women version of men, right?
Wow.
And so as this problem that we're having with men not being raised into manhood, we're facing a lot of issues. Like we have 40, 50, 60-year-old boys running around that have never been trained how to be men.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
And that's why I feel like organizations like Pathways from Boys to Men is super important, because it gives that statement that, no, you are going to be a man, and here's the path, here's the steps to get you there.
Yes, sir. Exactly that. And knowing the essentials that dignify you as a man, and
Right.
what I should know, me and my woman, what dignifies my sister to be a woman.
Yeah.
And knowing that it should be, the essentials are food, housing, and care, health care. So as long as I know how to take care of my body, eat well, and actually house myself, I'm pretty much, the rest is more skills that you learn, which is self-defense, and the rest that regards you to be a secure person. And that's what we're building up to, having these programs that hit every benchmark or every exact informational trait or skill somebody should know to be a man and a woman.
I have a teenage boy, right?
Mm.
And when it comes to me speaking, I'm dad, and there's a chemical that's released in kids, right? When the parent speaks, that just blocks out the voice. And I don't know anything according to my son, right? Like he already knows, right? Dad, right? Like I already know that's dad, right? Like, but there's also this concept of maybe, and Danny, maybe you can help me. This concept of pride and being proud, right? Like there can be an attitude of, oh, I already know it. And I'm not saying my son's like this, but there can be an attitude of when we're, as a boy around 15 to, say 30, we know it all, right? Like I already know. You don't got to tell me. Oh yeah. You know anyone like that? Brandon, I already know. And there's a difference in that pride of, hey, let me try to tell you something or teach you something, versus to be proud of what you've done. To turn around and go, man, look how I've impacted the community. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference between pride and proud of accomplishment, I guess. And it isn't all about accolades and the ability to, heap upon heap all the things that you're doing, but there is like, man, after a hard day's work where you worked hard, and at the end of the day you hit the pillow and you're just like, I'm so tired, but it was a good day.
You feel good,
and that's okay. That's like great.
Yeah,
that's what we're all looking for, that fulfillment.
Hey Chris, you want to go over to the chat? We got a lot going on in the chat right now.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Man, I don't.
Hey, and while Chris is looking that up, if you guys are watching on Facebook or you're watching on our website or any other place, the place to get involved in the chat is on YouTube. So head over to YouTube, type in Down to Earth Talk. You'll see this video happening live right now. And maybe you don't catch it live right now, but you're watching later. Make sure to comment below. Make sure to comment and something speaking to you. Put it in quotations, and have a discussion like that. That's the thing, is what's great about this show is we have this interactive chat. So I know we have Dan's in the chat, we have James in the chat, we have Deanna in the chat, and there's conversation happening, right?
It's
awesome. Go ahead, Chris.
So I'm going to say this name wrong, but it looks like Paths to Boy is going to be recognized for their commitment to community service by Assembly Member Eloise Reyes Gomez. And
hey, you said it right.
Did I do okay? All right.
Yeah.
So, and then James is also saying that they've got a workshop, I think, coming up. Or Dan is asking. Yes. Oh, there it is. Okay, so James said that there's a workshop on the 19th. Tell us about that. Do you know?
Yes, it's on Thursday the 19th. It's going to be at 5:30. And it's going to be at 1859 Northwestern San Bernardino, California. And we're having an actual CEO of a construction company, Miss Priscilla Chavez, coming through to describe her experience in construction. She's been in construction for over 10 years and is focused on all aspects of successful community outreach. And so she's going to give her story and what it takes to actually be productive in construction.
Okay, so do I got to sign up? Is there a place to register? Do I just show up?
It's actually free, the event, but you can go to pathwayfromboystomen.com to see the exact flyer. And you can also email Mr. James D. Randolph at admin.support@pathwayfromboystomen.com. admin.support@pathwayfromboystomen.com.
And for anybody watching this later than the live broadcast, we'll make sure to put that down in the description below so you can easily go and click there.
Thank you.
Gain more information.
So it's Introduction to Construction.
Yes, sir.
So is that going to kind of prepare me for, okay, here's the kind of classes, or here's where you need to go to get classes to be certified, or what is that going to...
We actually brought in the Carpenters Union as well. So they actually are hiring people on the spot. If you're interested in work at that moment, they'll give you the application and the exact step-by-step process to start their apprenticeship for the Carpenters Union or working for any other construction company that we bring in. So it's really on the spot
That's amazing.
connecting you. Yeah, it's
I,
awesome.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that it's on the spot. Like, hey,
Mhm.
show up and let's get to work.
It's gonna change right after. So that's what we're looking to do.
Great. That's so great. We've got a couple more here. Mr. James says he's at an annual conference today and connecting with potential career quest partners. And then Dan says it takes a mentor to separate the fact from the fiction.
Mm.
The fact from the fiction.
That's true.
So
Yeah, because exactly, if we, how you're saying that there's grown men that are still boys, and that goes to show all the years we've been educated. It's obviously not educating us on self-esteem and self-sufficiency.
Right.
It's teaching us to be, in need of a education source or institution to teach us something for the rest of our lives, instead of us actually having the information on hand for the rest of our lives, so we don't have to pay for information anymore.
Well, and
go ahead, sir.
Oh no, that's it's so important to, connect people. Chris, one of the things you said, when I lay down, I lay down my head on my pillow and I'm tired.
Mm.
You feel good after a good solid day's work.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel good when I come home to my home and knowing that I'm able to provide for my wife. When I'm able to take her and do things and we have dinner, knowing that I was able to go and provide that. That's a great feeling that I think that somehow along the way for a lot of people that kind of got lost, and there's a lot of people out there, as we were talking earlier, Chris, the word you used was entitlement, right? There's a lot of people out there that think that, oh, well, I'm in a bad spot and you're in a good spot, so you should give me this. And they don't connect those dots of like, no, there's a pathway, right? As we're talking about, there's a pathway to get there. Like, things aren't just given to you, and you're not just because there's a need doesn't mean that that's the responsibility of someone else to take care of that for you. That many of us have had those needs before, and we've walked the steps that we need to walk to be in a position that we can help somebody in that scenario. But that's not the requirement for it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you have a career or you have a job, there's a lot of things. Like, one of the greatest things you can do is, the saying is, hey, find something that you love to do and do it, and then figure out how to get someone to pay you to do it, right? Mm-hmm. But even in that, there's jobs that you do that you love a lot of it, yet there's still some parts that you're kind of like, I wish I didn't have to do that part, right? Like, but that's where you kind of got to push through the what I call stopping points, right? Mm-hmm. I worked in a mentorship where I actually worked and ran a school of ministry for like 15 years of discipleship. Wow. And one of the things that I learned is with like a 17 to about 25-year-olds, I would give them a task to do, and they would go to do the task. And there was a couple things. Number one, they didn't know how, and that's okay. I'll show you how. But a lot of times it would just be like lacking the ability to think critically and to be able to go, I have a problem. I've got to solve this problem. How will I solve this problem? Instead of going that far in the thinking, it was throw my hands up and walk away and say, it can't be done. It can't be done, right? And just walk away. And that's one of the things that is so important to teach in the critical thinking. I remember we, at one point, my family and I, we were doing the, this is hilarious, but we had a backyard chicken coop, right? Where we were doing fresh eggs every day. We had a couple chickens, and okay, that was great. Fresh eggs and stuff, but now it was time to get rid of it. We were kind of done. We were going somewhere else, and somehow I was having to figure out how to move this big old chicken coop that I'd made and get it to the street. So from my backyard out to the street, and I saw this moment where my son was watching me, and I said, okay, I'm going to ask him. And I said, all right, Isaac, I said, now I need to get this job done, but I'm all alone. what could I do? And he stood there and he kind of looks like this and he goes, well, Dad, you could call someone to help you. And I was like, you know, Isaac, that's brilliant. You're right. I could totally call someone to help me. And that could have been the end of the teaching moment. But I wanted to take it a little further with him to where I said, you know, Isaac, that's awesome. But if I'm willing to make the call to someone else and say, hey, can you come help me? I need to be on that other side too, where I have people in my life who feel like, hey, I could call Chris. He'll come help me. You know what I mean? So I was able to kind of show my son in the mentoring, like, hey, this is both ways. And we gotta overcome this problem that we have, and we gotta think about it, right, and push through it. So, anyways, those stopping points can be a killer for people when it's just throw your hands up, whatever, and walk away.
Over to the comments really quick. Channy said, "Don't come at me with the problem. Come at me with the solution."
Right?
Yeah.
She said she's teaching her kids that, and that's something she learned from you, Chris.
Aw. That's so great.
That's so true.
So, have you come across some stopping points in your life, Brandon? As my voice cracks like a little boy.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, without a doubt. It's always been money. You know, people that will stop somebody from seeing something to be accomplished. And so right now, that's what I've been developing my full understanding of money. So it doesn't lower my self-esteem by how much money I have. And that's been the only stopping point I've had. Like, I've always had confidence in myself until that, like, providing. If I want a wife, I need to know that I could provide for her. And so that will, if I don't have everything that I feel I need to provide for a woman yet, I'm not going to even attempt to go get a woman yet. I'm going to keep working till I can provide for her and me. And that's smart. Yeah.
I'm telling you right there. That was my perception. Like, I was like, I'm not looking for anybody until I can take care of myself and someone else. When I know I can do that, that's when I'll go look for her.
And then that would build more relationships everywhere, because more men would have, our self-esteem will be high, and that strengthens our woman's self-esteem when we respect her at a high level. And that's the same for ourselves. We respect ourselves first, and then we respect others in the same manner. So we're just building self-respect for our men again, and then we're going to respect our women, and it just grows from there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So thank you so much for,
yeah. No, yeah. You know what's crazy? What's crazy about it was this is crazy. This is crazy. I just realized this the other day. Chris, you might not even know this. I realized that I was ready to look for my wife. I had my sister actually came and stayed with me and was living with me, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm doing pretty good taking care of her, making sure she's taken care of, and I'm taking care of myself. I thought, wow, I didn't even realize I'm already kind of at this place where I can do this. And I remember it was on my birthday, because it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So, like, we went on a hike that day. I was going to teach my sister a little bit of something about. She says, "Oh, you go on these tight hikes? They're not that tough." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. I'm going to take you on a hike. Like, I'm going to take you on a real hike." So I took her on this hike, and then I realized in that process, right? Well, I remember that was on my birthday. 1 year later, I was proposing to my wife. Exactly 1 year later.
So it was like a light bulb.
Yeah, but I mean, I just realized the other day that it was that 1 year process. You know,
that's
guys,
amazing.
we're pushing time. So, Chris, I know there was a couple more things that you wanted to hit.
It's all good. We can do it in the after part, right?
All right. Yeah. Brandon, share with people how they can get a hold of you, how they can get a hold of Pathways from Boys to Men.
Okay, great.
And
yeah. So Pathways from Boys to Men, just visit our website at pathwayfromboystomen.com. You could also find us on Facebook at pathwayfromboystomen.com. And you could find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The Winners Only, with a Z, at The Winners Only. Once again, my name is Brandon Carter, and I thank both of you guys for this great opportunity to speak to you and have a conversation. It was great. So thank you again. Yeah,
it was really good. Chris, who are we talking to next week? We got about 40 seconds.
Can't even see it right now. I don't have it in front of me.
I do this all the time.
He's always like,
next week we're going to be talking to Sandra Mitchell.
Yes.
We're excited about that conversation.
She works with the Department of Rehabilitation, and she's got a lot of information to share with us. Once again, it's rehabilitating people, helping them go on and pursue and have a career. So
back to the chats really quick. We have Dan who says, "Thanks, Brandon. Much success to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.
Later.
Thank you.